Hello friends, again with another edition of the Think Tech Talk by the Center for Research and Security Studies. Today we are going to focus on one issue that a lot of people don't really appreciate, and that is the intellectual property rights. Generally speaking, the idea or the goal of the intellectual property rights laws is to protect basically ideas, innovations, and all other types of creations or innovations. Why? Because these ideas drive economy, they drive commerce, and you don't want really these ideas to be stolen or copied by anybody else to your disadvantage. Now, for a discussion on this issue, we have today with us a very eminent guest, Ambassador Farukh Amil. He has been ambassador to many countries, also to the United Nations at Geneva as a permanent representative and ambassador to Japan. But right now he's heading Pakistan's intellectual property rights organization. So welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So it's a very notional conversation about the intellectual property rights, the laws, to the context of Pakistan. So why is it necessary for a country like Pakistan to have intellectual property law or an organization? What actually necessitated it?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to this the talk. Pakistan needs to have the international treaties in place. We have the national laws on intellectual property, very much there, but they are the national laws. The biggest challenge for Pakistan is the awareness issue, and this is what IPO has been grappling with. IPO Pakistan is a relatively new organization that was established with the Parliamentary Act in 2012, and it was there used to be the Patents Office and Trademarks Office and Copyrights. It was a hodgepodge of all these little departments all over the place. And then it was made into a national agency, a national authority. It's autonomous, and currently it is under the administrative control of the Ministry of Commerce, along with many of the sister organizations in terms of economic and commercial activity. So the important part of why is it relevant for Pakistan? Every other country that is achieving, and often I get asked this, why is it important? Who cares? Well, then which group of countries does Pakistan want to be banded with? Do we want to be with the OECD economies racing forward, the ASEAN economies racing forward? All of them have robust legislation in place and have joined the relevant international treaties. So it's absolutely required. Nodes of awareness exist in like OICCI, at NUST, at IMS, or many of the universities, UVAS around Pakistan, but there is no general awareness of what intellectual property is and what it isn't. It's a very simple thing. If you had your car outside, if it is stolen, you will go and report it. Now, if your idea and innovation is stolen by somebody else, it's the same kind of theft. It belongs to you, and you must be aware of your intellectual property rights.
Yeah, for the lack of awareness on this issue, has Pakistan suffered internationally for a number of things that it has been producing that belong to Pakistan?
Absolutely. And the thing is, there's been a rearguard action and corrective measures taken when someone else has grabbed our what is rightfully ours. So what happens is that, in the context of, for example, geographical indications and a recently concluded treaty, an international agreement in Geneva in May 2024 about genetic resources, associated traditional knowledge and IP in general. And so this is maybe a continuation of what has been going on from the colonial days, where something that belongs to you suddenly becomes the property of someone else, and that someone else, well, it's not theirs. So if you have another adjacent nation going around saying, "Oh, Ajrak is ours," and saying it's eco-friendly fabric or eco-friendly dyes that are being used, well, it belongs to us.
So Ajrak is like a shawl from southern Pakistan.
Southern Pakistan. And of course, it exists in the neighboring country as well. However, it belongs to Sindh. Now, similarly, if you look at Peshawar and you look at the Peshawari chappal, why does it take someone like Paul Smith to charge £300 for it? And why does not? And people were just laughing. It's about 10 years ago. Why are they laughing? It's yours. You make money. You should be given royalties for copyrights. So somebody like Michael Jackson's estate still earns millions of dollars a year, whereas the person I understand that author coined the Lal Shahbaz Qalandar apparently died in abject poverty. So where is the intellectual property rights of that individual, his or her ideas?
So could you quote also some examples of the theft of property of Pakistan, for example?
Well, I just gave the example of the Peshawari chappal. The ajrak is trying to be taken away from us. So we've had an issue with the basmati chawal.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to allude to, that this conflict with India.
Yes, but basmati chawal, I think the Ministry of Commerce has done a good reactive job, and now we're in it's not completely dire straits as it is often portrayed. It's a win-win thing, but it has meant that Pakistan has to fight in every major market to say that we should share the name basmati. So when we talk about trademarks, but this is much more. We're talking about genetic resources. When the DNA of your animals, your flora and fauna, is being taken by XYZ, made into medicines and food, and then it is being sold back to the natives. And how different is that from the 18th century?
So basically you lose the competitive advantage, whatever advantage.
You lose the resource. You lose the resource. So, continuously every government talks about value addition. This is much more than value addition to the resources that we have. And it's not just trees and plants and animals, it's the minerals that are under our feet. It is about your culture being appropriated by other people, and it cannot happen. And if you let it happen, then you're not in a good place. But countries and investors are looking at a country that has signed on to the international agreements.
So that is actually very crucial.
Absolutely. So we joined the Madrid Protocol on Trademarks. We upped the ante in 2017. And my successor signed it in 2021. And so with one click of a button, this is the age of being online. You just click button. So you're protected. Your trademark is protected in 150 odd countries immediately. So similarly, we had a copyright treaty, the Marrakesh Treaty, which we signed, although we were the last in South Asia to sign it, but nonetheless we did sign it in December 23. So we have the other major treaties, the Patent Cooperation Treaty, and we have our national patent laws. But if you for example, Aga Khan University has a TISC, it's called the Technology Innovation Support Center. They're doing very well on this, but they registered the handheld, I'll give this example, you were looking for a handheld the ECG monitor, which is a global application. It's not just meant for the northern area.
Amazing, yeah.
Yes. And so what they did, they registered that in the United States, the patent. Why? Because it won't be stolen. If they registered it here, anybody beyond our borders could just steal that technology and that idea. So the net loss is the innovation stream has gone away from Pakistan along with the revenue. So we have to fix it.
China, I hear, did a lot in patent protection, because China is practically the global factory,
Yes.
a factory for the rest of the world. How did they manage this?
Well, the thing is, they made it because they've got a very strong patent office. They've got very, very strong IPRs, and I was told when I was in Geneva by the then Director General of WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, that Hu Jintao, the President Hu Jintao, told him future wars will be fought on IP. Who controls the knowledge? And if you control the resources and of another country,
So they had foreseen.
oh, of course. And if there's a running graph. It's online somewhere, but a running graph of the patents that are being registered, and you see China's like way down in, and suddenly it's coming and it's right at the top. So the innovation society, so they're not just manufacturing things, they're creating things and making things, and that's where the dynamism of an economy moves. Once you create things, we have a burgeoning population. Not everybody can travel abroad. Not everybody will go abroad. So we need to anchor our people to hope and prosperity, and IP is a critical part of our national economic security.
Yeah, this bulging population, actually, this makes it even more critical, as you say. So looking at the past 4, 5, 6 years, how much tangible work has Pakistan done in protecting its own patents?
Well, the thing is, we have to go through this very laborious, but it's mandated by law. It has to be approved by the Parliament, and once the Parliament approves our amendment, so what we've done is we brought our national laws into compliance with the international treaty, and you can only do those amendments once once it's gone through the Parliament. When the Parliament has given its stamp, then we accede to the treaty. There are elements who don't want to join this, but the issue is that, and one thing I really do want to highlight here, there is complete cross-party understanding on this. It's intellectual property is a national economic issue. It is a national economic security issue, and people across all parties understand this, and they're very supportive when this is explained to them. Of course, it has to occupy their center stage. And we have to keep telling them. We do briefings in the Senate and in the National Assembly.
So you are basically framing this entire issue as national economic security challenge. Do people in positions of power understand this that you are referring to right now?
Well, the ministers and many of the senators and parliamentarians that I've met certainly understand that, and leaders like it, at NUST, at UVAS in Lahore, at IOBM, IBA, and OICCI, the chambers, the Islamabad chamber here, the leaders there, they all understand this, and that is very heartening and very good for us that we already have an audience, an influential audience, and influential stakeholders who know this already. The issue is to get it to other universities and other schools, and what I'm trying to do is bring even a paragraph of IP rights into the national curriculum, just like not Japan or Germany. I'm talking about Turkey, I'm talking about Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Korea. All these countries, their children are learning about IP and demystifying it at the age of 13 or 14. So by the time they get to the universities, this is part and parcel of, it's a normal part of a business degree, of doing commercial, and you cannot split commerce and trade from politics. It's completely interlinked, regardless of the counter arguments.
Yeah, that's a fantastic summation of what we actually wanted to achieve, is that how is intellectual property right and economic security challenge for every country, and how countries like China and India, for instance, have protected their patents and whatever belongs to them. And this is an uphill task, and thank you very much for this conversation, and you are doing a great job, and we hope that with your efforts Pakistan also gets into a position where other countries are, and they can basically strongly, effectively protect their patents. Thank you very much.